What has been happening with book hype in the past couple of years, from the Hunger Games to Powerless to whatever Brandon Sanderson is publishing each year? What keeps people's attention? What triggers the alarm in such a way that people will do anything to get that book? What is it that is making the book marketable? What is hyping everyone so much that they want it so bad that, you know what I mean? Book hype, book hype. Like when you feel hype about something, what do you think about? How do you feel? And whenever I'm hype about something, I'm very passionate. Yes, I'm rooting for this. I'm supporting this. I'm giving my all. I'm doing everything that I can to my power and will to get what I want. And I guess this is what book hype is kind of doing. Like whatever is appealing and what people want, they're going to do whatever it takes to get there. As today's discussion is going to go over the book hype, like how it kind of works in a way that it doesn't have a formula, but it just somehow works. And back here where my desk is, I have the Powerless series plus the novella Powerful. And as of today, September 2nd, Fearful is now on sale. I'm very excited. I actually pre-ordered the book today. Well, Friday I pre-ordered the book, and I'm going to get it later this month. But what's ironic is that I'm always late to the party. In a way, I would love to say I'm always late to the hype train. When I heard about Powerless, it was like probably late 24, early 2025. I never knew Powerless existed. Like, I don't know. It just all of a sudden came to my feed of my suggested videos and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand why people are so hyped about this book in particular, and then the author who wrote it and all that stuff. It wasn't until I actually met the author, Lauren Roberts, in person that I was like, I need to pick up those books. Like, seriously, I really do. And yeah, quick story, because I was actually at a book convention in March, and I was on one of the panels. I was actually at the very last panel of the day, and I was really liking the author, and I really wanted to pick up her work, and which is the Powerless series. And I've been hearing so much about Fearful, and yeah, I've been listening to her story and like everything all about that. And it's so funny because I've been paying attention to it for the past few months, and I'm just trying to catch up. And yeah, when you're so late to the hype train, you kind of miss a lot, and you like kind of do a lot of catching up and all that stuff. But you still do get bits and pieces of it, and you're like, you know, I wish I was in the hype train a lot sooner and know more about the books and the author's process and all that stuff from jam. All right, so yes. And for the past few years that I've been listening about the latest books, like the anticipated books of the year, or some books being promoted at bookstores like Barnes & Noble, that's the biggest one I know, and from the top of my head. But the point is, why are certain books being pushed more than others? Well, usually the books are being promoted by a publishing house, usually by traditional publishing. The big five publishers are like the biggest ones in America, and those publishers do what they can to promote the book and give it out, show it off, and hopefully people can see it. And with traditional publishing, like they pay everything for you and all that stuff, and the author doesn't have to worry about anything, right? Yeah, but there are certain books that stand out, and what makes those books stand out depends on what it's inside of it or how well it's marketed. And marketability is a big way of how book hype is going around. And a good way we're using it is through social media. So for a book to be hyped so well, what are the tropes? What tropes are going to attract readers to pick up the book? What is going to intrigue them so much that they cannot ignore it? What is going to have the reader just stop the brakes and be like, I need to get that book. I need to be the first one to get my hands on that physical copy, read through it, and then talk about it to everyone else how great the book is. Or bad, but we're hoping for the good, right? Right. Okay. What else can possibly cause book hype? Well, of course, you gotta get word of mouth. Social media, like I said before, you gotta have people talking about the book and different things from the tropes. What else? From the tropes, the cover, the bigger picture of beyond the story. And you want to do it in a way without spoiling the story, but also lead into open-ending discussion. And with book hype, it really does a great job with opening the discussion, and it leads others to have more to say and talk about, and see how much feedback and all this talk about this one book can literally make the book world explode. And I wanted to just talk about Powerless for a second as an example, because Powerless actually began as a self-published book, and it was picked up by a traditional publisher, Simon & Schuster, and it was being marketed, and it actually did really well. It is in the romantic genre, which is the current trend. And I'm going to actually mention about trends in a minute. And that trend, it just got readers really stopping their brakes and just picking up the book. And people have said a lot of word of mouth about it, whether it's good things, okay things, bad things, but the book is successful because of how much hype is getting, because the word of mouth, the social media, the promotions. There is a lot that plays a factor into hyping up a book. It's not just I'm putting my book on sale, this is the publishing day. No one's gonna really buy the book. So it really takes dedication and putting actual time into it to promote that book, putting word of mouth, talking about it every day or ever so often. Just make sure it's consistent, really. And just talk about the book, talk about what you want your readers to know about it and what could lead to open discussion. I want to talk about trends, because trends do play a role in how a book is hyped even more in a way. And with romantasy, for example, so romantasy is pretty much a combination of romance with fantasy clash together. So of course you have this fantasy world, but you have a subplot of romance, and those are mushed in together to make a story. And that is a trend that is currently booming in the book publishing industry, and it's going crazy. And I don't see it dying off anytime soon. So yeah, doesn't mean I'm writing it. Okay, I don't believe writing book on trend, because the trend can wear off, but it's not about me. It's about trends. What is going to catch people's attention? And I'm going to talk about romance books really quick. So you know how romance books, it has that predictable plot, but there's certain parts of it that makes it so enjoyable for readers in the romance genre that they just stay with it. And let's see, what? Enemies to lovers, forced proximity, I'm not a romance book person, but I tried. But I'll give you a better one. Fantasy. You got the world building, you got the characters, you got the wizards, you got chosen one, you got talking animals, you got different tropes, you got the missing MacGuffin, you got the hero's journey, that you got a formula base that you can really play with, and you can really show that off, and like, hey, this is what my book's about, but in a way that is engaging and eye-catching, that makes the viewer stop, look at it, and be like, oh my, is that what I'm thinking about? And I want to also give another example. This might sound a little controversial, but it's something recent that happened, and this is actually a self-publishing example. Okay, so definitely watch my video about the rise, hype, and backlash of Audra Winter, but this is the example right now. So basically, Audra Winter is a self-published author / entrepreneur, okay? And she's been writing The Age of Scropios for a good 10 years. And pretty much when she officially talked about her book, like in the end of 2021, she got a lot of attention, a lot of views, and all that stuff. She started with the world building, and she had it based on the zodiac signs. And people were attracted to that. She had an audience that was attracted to that, and they wanted more. So what she did, she gave her audience more about the world building and the characters, the art. The art is what really stood out for Audra, and that's what really led to her success in her pre-orders, which was over 6,000 copies. Yes, over 6,000 copies for a debut indie author. And I'm not going to go over any backlash in this video. That is for my other video I have linked below. But that shows you like anything is possible. Like, and the amount of time and dedication of putting the work in, like the endless countless hours in order to see your book out there and people talking about it. And really, book hype is all about that conversation. You want to make something out there. You want something unforgettable. What is it that people are going to not stop talking about? Like seriously, like you're bragging about something. Have some bragging rights in there in a way, but don't take it too far. But yes, and what I'm currently doing with my book, okay, college life has been a little a lot, like a lot. I have been managing it. Don't worry, y'all. Don't worry. But how I'm promoting my book, I am talking about what it's about, obviously without spoiling. I talk about the characters. Like I try to do some basic stuff. So like seriously, like I show like nice little anime teasers, shorts on YouTube, and then TikTok. I talk more about Mermaid Mysteries, and I try to use as many resources and tools as I can to promote Mermaid Mysteries. That is actually going to be released on October 13th. And funny to know, okay, I actually got the physical copy, paperback ink, a hardcover right there. Yes, and pretty much, yeah, ebook is available for pre-order right now. Okay, all formats, all three formats, paperback, ebook, and hardcover come out October 13th. So please please. It's a wonderful book. And well, okay, I'm going to play a little selfish for a bit. I'm going to kind of brag to you about my book and like me basically hyping about my book. And gosh, funny, because one thing I will never miss of a book hype is hyping about all about my book. Okay, so Mermaid Mysteries. So pretty much it is centered around Atlantis, and there has been this person who invaded Atlantis, taking it over, and then it has to be saved, right? And these humans find the mermaids, who are the royal family of Atlantis, and they have to save Atlantis. But here's the problem. There was a past occurrence that kind of interferes with that. So internally, so the internal conflict is within what happened in the past, and like kind of dwelling on the past, kind of. Whenever I wrote this book, I just learned so much, and I wrote this book like at my lowest point, one of my lowest points actually, whenever I was injured, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with my life? What passion do I have left? And writing was that the answer, and that's how Mermaid Mysteries came to be. And oh my gosh, my original goal for it was like, okay, we're gonna make this huge novel. No. But what I learned was to trust the process. And with Mermaid Mysteries, I took my time with it. I actually made an entire series of it. I literally have all 3 books written. Don't worry, there's gonna be some fixing and revising with the second and third book, of course. But I'm continuously talking about it. That's something I cannot stop talking about with others, whether I am posting or not. Just talking to people, like I'll just do a nice mention, and yeah. And there's always new ideas that comes to my mind, my I guess my writing space, and then I'm just like, whoa, I need to write this down. And like, but at the same time, it's very exciting because it hypes me up more about Mermaid Mysteries and more that I can tell you and for you to be excited about as well. And I'm trying to create this conversation as well to put it out there. And whoa, yes. And I guess I can say, when it comes to book hype doesn't die off. There's always going to be a book that's going to be the top of the conversation, like literally. So there's never going to be like just dead silence. Trust me, it won't, never won't. And another thing about it, like the hype train, book hype or author hype, whatever you want to call it. I want to just say Brandon Sanderson, for example, because he has been in the business for so long. Like he even has his own publishing company, book company, Dragon Seal. I know the name, y'all. I know the name. Okay. Like he has made a publishing empire pretty much with his books, and he's been publishing at least 1 book per year, and he has this consistency. And like I said, he's been in the business for over 20 years, and like he has been honing on his craft from writing and doing everything he can to please his audience. And yeah, that's actually honestly amazing. Like, and I know I listened to a lot of his lectures. I'm very hyped about like what I'm very hyped about what the author is, like what he's going to publish next, because he's doing it very consistently. And yeah, like man. And beginning my journey into publishing, like starting like next month, October 13th, I'm gonna publish my first one. And I'm literally planning out how I'm going to publish my books. Like, am I going to publish 1 a year, 2 a year? Like, it really depends. And with my my book series, Mermaid Mysteries, so really quick, like they are actually very easy reads. 3 books, very easy reads. Like literally less than 200 pages. Yes, I know, right? And there's more than just what the story says. There's like certain questions that might not be answered in that book that can be answered in the next. And it just leads to open-ended discussion. And when there's open-ended discussion, I love open-ended discussion because there's just more talk, and there can be like questions that could be asked upon, and like you're just waiting for that answer. And I think with that book hype, like with those questions or those thoughts in mind, like it just keeps going. It just stays in your head, like somewhere, even if it's in the back of your mind, it can come back and be like, "Ooh, I remember this," and I know that this author is going to continue with this book series or continue with publishing, and that this author has more to say. So I'm waiting for that. I'm going to be waiting on that. And if it's not completely a book, like maybe like a fan fiction or something from the author that is canon, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it because I'm excited, because I am loaded. I am hyped for it. I am ready for more. I want my answers question, and I might have even more questions. And I'm like, yeah, like literally. And pretty much with book hype, when it comes to book hype, there's going to be bound to be various different opinions, because everyone has a voice, everyone has their different opinions of what they believe is such and such. And with the book hype, like some people can be like, what's the point of this? Why is this being pushed? Or like it could be like they probably just don't like it, or they're like, the hype is too much and like all that, and the person could have a valid reason for it, or maybe just kind of wait for what's going to happen next. And what I'm doing, um, sorry, I'm gonna like literally talk about this self-publisher example, Audra Winter, because what I'm doing is keeping a close eye on her second edition of Age of Scropios. I'm very interested in her process of how she's doing it, and I'm just keeping an eye on it, because like, okay, she lost a lot of trust from her audience because of what happened to the first book, the first edition of the book that is not on sale right now, because the second edition is going to come out in March or April of next year. And yeah, and what I'm doing is just collecting research and notes, like exclusively from her. She is my number one source, and I'm going to dive deep into that and see what she could be potentially doing right, what she's potentially doing wrong, and like pretty much my analysis of how she's doing her book publishing for the second edition. And I believe this is a nice experience. I'm like, okay, because I mostly missed the hype from the self-publishing side with Audra Winter, but I am paying close attention to how this hype is keep on going. But I feel like there's not as much hype as it was the first time, because, well, first of all, she failed her audience, letting them down because she gave a book that was not to the standards what her readers were expecting. It wasn't like how the art was being presented. She didn't really have too much of a sample of her book, except for like the first 4 pages that I heard. Yeah, and yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on that, because it's really, really interesting. It's going to be really interesting at how things play out. And on the self-publishing side, and there's so much to learn from it, really, and to be cautious about. And when it comes to book hype, you also want to be cautious about it. So definitely, I am going to look more into this this analysis and how the book is being hyped and marketed and all that stuff. And like, I'll say next year, I'm literally going to have a video about the second edition of Age of Scropios, going over how Audra Winter did her process that time around. I want you to make sure you pre-order Mermaid Mysteries, the ebook copy, as all 3 versions, the ebook, paperback, and hardcover, is going to come out October 13th. And I can't wait for it to come out. I want to keep on talking about it. I want more videos like exclusively about Mermaid Mystery. You want me to give an analysis of it? I gotcha. And I'm really excited to talk more about book discussions, and I'll book talk you later.